didn't get a chance to talk about WWE RAW from this week yet. So I talked a little bit about it on the Twitch stream, the video game stream on Tuesday. Follow me on social media at Primetime Klein for all the updates on that. But let's break it down a little bit more in depth here. My first thought about Raw on Netflix is that it was a great celebration of wrestling. That's my biggest takeaway. It was a celebration of wrestling and this company. For a long time, as a wrestling fan, it felt like WWE was trying to do everything but be a wrestling company. It was almost like they were trying to trick people into coming in for the wrestling. Like they were almost apologizing for being a wrestling company. Yes, we'll have wrestling in the name, but then entertainment immediately. And it's not wrestling, it's sports entertainment. And they're not wrestlers, they're superstars. And we do movies here, pal. We don't do matches and all of those things. It is like they were trying to do everything they could to make you forget that you were watching wrestling. And I mean, that part of it is like, that's the thing, is that you don't want to go in being, oh wow, I am watching wrestling, because that takes you out of the illusion of some of it. But the big part of it is that this company that was the biggest in this art form that we all love as wrestling fans was basically ashamed of what it was and tried everything they could to not be that sort of a thing, to be respected. And what we had on Monday was a company that was unabashedly a wrestling company. Some people got worked up about he said heel and babyface in that opening thing as, oh, they're giving away the stuff of the business. Like, look, man, we know. Like, it's 2025. I think we can we've put that one behind us. If you want companies that don't do that, then fine. But again, for so long, that was the alternative, is that you would have like TNA or even AEW. It's like, oh, well, the babyface, he blah, 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 right? Like they would do some of the inside stuff. Even now, like AEW does kind of feel like it's booked a little bit more toward the internet wrestling community. And so with some of that, there sometimes is a little bit of a wink and a nod, like, yeah, we know what's going on. And then WWE does it, and it's, oh, how could they? But I love, again, that they are not running away from what they are. That this is the reason they got to this dance. The reason they are a, once again, billion-dollar company is because they are a wrestling company. And to not run away from that, I think is awesome. And so, again, like, it's not like they went into everyone and all of a sudden Michael Cole is calling it as, like, real, right? And it's, oh, well, the babyface here, oh, that's such a heel move, blah, 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 blah. No, it was one reference once. But it wasn't we're an entertainment phenomenon and all of those things. This is a wrestling company. And so that's just really what it felt like. I love that they were embracing it. It was all really, really cool. And it all really did feel like a new era for the WWE. As for the show itself, you know, like I appreciate that you only wanted a few matches so you could have a spotlight on them, but god damn did that show drag. Like it was just such a drag the whole show. And I think the pacing of it really did take away from some of those things. And obviously, like it went 3.5 hours, I think. You want to jam in a lot of different things and you want people to see and to appreciate a lot of different things. But then by the end, like it felt like it took the impact away from some of the matches. And I thought the main event kind of struggled because of it. Like Rollins and Punk, they are not going to do a Lucha Libre style match or a match that they would have done 10 years ago, right? Like it is a bit more of a methodical pace. And so for a crowd that's already been sitting there for 3.5 hours and has seen The Undertaker and have just worn themselves out booing Hulk Hogan, it took them a little bit to get into that match. And now they did get there. But it felt like it dragged. And by the end of the night, you kind of just thought, when can this be over? Can we finish this now? Can it be done? Like this was fun, but I am tired and I want to go home. That's kind of what it felt like out there. The pacing needs to change. And not every week is going to be like this, where every commercial break you are coming back and, hey, here's this celebrity and that celebrity, and there's Wale, and there's this, and here's a big thing with the dude smoking, and here's all these different things, and here's 18 video packages so you can see everything that's going on. It's not always going to be like that, but that was the one thing that kind of took away from the specialness of everything. I think the matches were really good. I think they got over a lot of the key points that they needed to hit on, right? Like you got the Roman Reigns bloodline thing, and Roman Reigns is back to being a top star. and Cody is established as a top guy, and The Rock is back, and Cody's feud with Kevin Owens, and it's all tied into this bloodline thing. Like, they hit the major story points that they needed to hit. I think they hit. On the women's side too, Rhea Ripley is that bitch, right? Like, she is a dominant ass kicker, and Liv Morgan and company, a worthy adversary, but this is back to being Rhea's division now. So they got that across. The one main thing though that I had an issue with is that Gunther's still the champion on Raw. And this is one of the problems they had with the brand split before. And I think one of the big problems they're going to have with the brand split now is that they made the other world championship feel like the other world championship, right? Like when Jack Swagger is defending the world title against Mark Henry on one show, and it's John Cena against Triple H on the other one, which one do you think people are going to be taking more seriously? And so it was the same here, where all of this focus is on Cody. He's still the undisputed WWE champion, and so we had one video package on Gunther, I am the world champion, but it wasn't, we're not advancing any story, we're not whatever, it's just, hey, by the way, I'm this guy who's really good, and I have a belt that's also called the world title. So, it just, this felt like it was such an afterthought, and Cody is the guy. And so this is the problem again with the brand split. And I think it's going to be an even bigger problem now with Netflix. Because before, Toxic remembers, right? And like, how could you not? And it was a fun era. Like, I really did enjoy that era of WWE. And you get like the early days of the brand split, and I thought they did it well. And maybe we'll do a bigger thing on a brand split at a later time. But I thought they actually did a few things pretty well. But you'd have the SmackDown 6, and it gives opportunities to guys who wouldn't have necessarily been world champions without it. And so that's cool, right? And so, like, you do get the bad with the good, right? Like we just talked about, the Jack Swagger, Mark Henry title matches and stuff like that. But you don't get Edge being a world champion, I don't think, without the brand split. You don't get Eddie Guerrero beating Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship without the brand split. You don't get Rey Mysterio Jr. being a world champion without the brand split. CM Punk, Jeff Hardy, all of those. Maybe you get a couple of them, but you do not get them for an extended period of time without that brand split. And so I do think it is important, based on the immense talent that this roster has, to be able to do that. But it was easy when the main show was on USA Network and the B show, which it was on like UPN or whatever, My Network Television or whatever it was. Now, USA Network, well, not a major network, it is NBC. And with that comes Saturday night's main event and all those other things. Like, it is a big network to still be a part of, and a big family to still be a part of. But Netflix is a completely bigger deal. And so it's going to feel very hard to say, yes, no, like, Cody Rhodes is one of our biggest stars. And Netflix is our biggest platform that we have ever had to showcase our talent. But he's going to be over on USA Network on Friday night, wrestling on television, because we have this brand split thing going on. So you get Gunther. Like the Roman Reigns storyline, that's the best thing kind of going right now in television. That's also over on SmackDown. But, I mean, like, there's kind of a tie in here, because Sami Zayn, like, he was really conflicted about joining them again, and people are mad at him about it. So you get that, right? Like, that is going to be a very difficult line to walk. And I think they are just going to completely fuck off with the brand split, I think, for WrestleMania season, which I don't necessarily hate. I wish they would at least try, but you don't necessarily hate that, just to get the best stuff across. I'll be very interested to see what it all looks like post WrestleMania, because we got to a point before where, with the first brand split, where I just wanted an undisputed champion. Like, enough of this, let's just get an undisputed champion. He can go between both shows, and we just do it that way. But now I do think that it is beneficial to have Gunther be a world champion and have SmackDown have their own WWE champion. Don't call it undisputed, because it's fucking not. But that is the one issue I see right now with where they're going with the brand split.